Now for our next story, let's make a list. How many things do you pay for on a daily or monthly basis? And I'm not talking about food or water, I'm talking about services. Chances are you pay for ad-free music or ad-free streaming or OTT services like Netflix or Amazon. It's a no-brainer for most of us. We like the service, so we pay. Why not do the same for news? Most people read news online nowadays. Around 72% Indians get their updates from smartphones. 86% in America and again 72% in Europe. Almost all of that news is free. All you have to do is go on Google or YouTube or Twitter. Just think of this show that you're watching right now. Chances are you're seeing it on YouTube. Did you have to pay for it? No. And some governments are now trying to change this. Canada is the latest. They're close to implementing a new online news policy. This policy will force internet companies to pay publishers. How does that work? Assume you run a news website. Until now, your articles were free of cost online. You could find them on Google. You could read them on Google. But under this new law, Google would have to pay you, the publisher I mean. Let's say $100. If Google pays, they will be allowed to display links to your website. If not, those links can be taken down. Your website would become invisible on Google. So here's what Canada is trying to do. It wants internet companies to strike commercial deals with publishers. Pay them to keep their content online. Just one problem though. The internet companies are pushing back. Google and Meta are threatening to limit services in Canada. They say they will simply stop offering news. And that's trouble on two counts. One, it will hurt the publishers and journalists. And two, news should never be limited. It's a key part of any thriving democracy. So what's the solution here? Luckily, we have seen this situation before. It happened in Australia back in 2021. Their government passed a similar bill asking big tech to pay for news. Both Google and Meta pushed back. Facebook even banned news services for some time. But eventually, both companies came around. They've signed 30 commercial deals with news publishers since then, and the Australian government has called it a success. So there is still hope for Canada. But what about the broader picture? If Australia and Canada can do it, why not other countries? And it's a valid question. At the heart of this puzzle is the revenue model, and don't run away, I promise to keep it simple. Most news publishers need ad revenue to survive. But for ads, you need traffic. And for traffic, you need more people to visit your website or see your videos. Enter Google and Meta. These companies link you to news websites. For example, go to Google and search for the coronation. Google will show you a list of all the articles. Without Google, you would have never found them. These links can actually be counted. Google linked people to Canadian publishers 3.6 billion times in the last year. Facebook, 1.9 billion times. This led to free marketing worth around $230 million. Facebook says that money should be enough. They're providing traffic, so why should they pay more? I'll tell you why. Because despite all the so-called free marketing, it's still a raw deal for news websites. I agree it's a give-and-take relationship, but big tech is taking a lot more than it's giving. Some social media companies are trying to change this. Twitter, for one. Elon Musk has announced that users will have to pay for news. Like pay per view, it will be pay per click. News companies can charge per article. It's an idea whose time has come, we say. Google and Meta benefit from people's interest in news. When Russia attacks Ukraine, or when King Charles gets his crown, where do people go? They go to the internet to read about it. We as journalists supply people with the information they want. It is for our content that people are Googling. So it's only fair that the revenue be shared.